Good evening. For those of you I have not talked to, I'm Charles Pearson, Superintendent of Schools. I want to talk about a celebration we had last Tuesday night, the 21st. Dr. Rance Thomas Excellence in Community Partnership Award was awarded to the Normandy Schools Collaborative from St. Louis Community College and North County Churches United. We got this award because St. Louis Community College recognized us as a premier partner. We were one of the first school districts in the region to really connect with St. Louis Community College Flow Valley around offering opportunities for dual enrollment, meaning that we had high school students who were actually going to class full-time at the community college campus. We broke records actually because last year, 2019, we were the first high school in the region to have students who graduated simultaneously the same day. They marched across our stage, got a diploma, then ran downtown, marched across the stage and got their associate's degree. So we had 4 students do that. We celebrate that. So we received that award. We've identified 22 teachers at the high school who can qualify to teach a dual enrollment class. So we're currently getting their degrees, et cetera, and the curriculums are looked at, because that means that students who may end up not going to the campus all day can still be accessing college credit classes on the high school campus. So we're celebrating those things in a major way. You just heard some conversation about Reading Wonderland. We're still, I think, tallying how many books we're giving away and so forth. But again, yesterday was an amazing day. First graders from across the district had a chance to come to Lucas Crossing. Each child received, 3 books at a minimum? Each book received 3 books from a variety of vendors and so forth. It was amazing because when you're this young, you still love books. You know, I had a chance to read a book to them. We all had a chance to read a book. You pick a book where you can be silly and read with kids. How many of you ever read with your grandchildren or small kids? Like, it's just fun to do. You just have to get animated. So it was a really good day. These children really appreciate this because the research also says, I'm not going to use that phrase a lot, but a key indicator of how successful children are going to be is how many books they have in the house when they're growing up. That's the key indicator. So us giving children books, for some of them, they actually got a chance to start their own home library. Others had books already, but we heard things like children said, oh wow, I'm going to read this to my little brother, or I'm going to share this with a friend. So it was really a great event. So we celebrated that as well. We have Read With Me coming up in the spring. March. Read With Me is very similar to this, but in that particular setting, there'll be books available, but there's also going to be material for parents or older adults who want to read with children. How do you read with a child, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade? How do you ask them questions? How do you get them to see themselves in the text? So Read With Me is really designed to support the idea that all children still enjoy adults reading to them or reading with them. And one of the number one factors for children to become very effective early readers is if they're being read to when they're young and it's going on at home. So Read With Me is going to support this. So we really truly celebrate that particular event. And finally, you'll see some boards here in the front of the room. We have a team of young people working at the high school in cooperation with an organization called Operation Food Search. Anyone, raise your hand if you've heard of Operation Food Search. Yeah. They do an amazing amount of work around food shortages and so forth in the region. Our high school sits in a food desert, meaning that there's not a supermarket within 2 miles of the high school. We know that there are lots of our children who need support around meals. We also know that when we have a snow day, for some children, the only 2 meals they get on a regular basis are at school. We have implemented breakfast in the classroom, which has significantly increased the amount of meals children get, because some children may get late. Some children didn't feel as comfortable eating in the space this large, so them eating in the room, a balanced breakfast with their teacher in a smaller group has significantly increased the amount of times children access breakfast. They partner with us around the Bike and Grill at the high school, so we have increased the number of children who actually eat that balanced meal. And recently we received another grant from them where we're now providing a meal after school for children who are staying and operating in any activity, not just sports, but any. So Operation Food Search is partnered with us to do all of that. But the boards that you see scattered around you, an idea surfaced about what would happen if we actually began to reshape the high school so that it became more connected to the agri-science industry in this region. In case you don't know it, the St. Louis region has more PhDs and research around agriculture than almost any other region in the nation. This industry is exploding. If you go back to yesterday, the Gates Foundation has just invested money to put a brand new center around the study of agriculture in this region. We want to connect our children to that industry. You hear lots of conversation about workforce readiness. The idea of being able to connect with an industry now opens it up for our children to get internships and apprenticeships, have access to scholarships. There's a ton of money and a ton of opportunity associated with this industry. So even as we work on improving our children's literacy and numeracy, we know that if you are interested in a particular task or career that motivates you to study more, to read more, to write more. And so a group of our children are working with a group of experts, and they have that, what you see up front are sketches that these young people develop, that are commercial designed and finished, but our students developed after they did some about 6 field trips last summer. They visited urban farms throughout this region. They learned things like hydroponics. They learned all these kinds of aspects, and they brought that back, and they began laying out sketches on what it would look like if we turned 1.6 acres of the high school into what's called a teaching garden. If that happens, a teaching farm. If that happens, then you can actually begin to weave your sciences into that. You can connect STEM to that, and then more importantly, those children step out and they have access to industry. So that's the third thing that I really wanted to celebrate, the fact that that's going on full force. The Operation Food Search so far, they have received $130,000 from the Wainwright Foundation. They received another grant of $39,000 from a separate foundation back in the late fall. And you're going to hear shortly that they received a $100,000 grant. All of that money is being given to them by people excited in the region to help us doing this program. So that last grant is going to actually help some developers, some surveyors, to come test the soil and take a look at the ground that's at the high school and start seeing what it would look like to put some of this in place. It's not all settled yet, but they've actually got money to study the idea, and the people say once they get the details, they can get more money to implement the idea. So in the next couple of years, these are the kind of things we want to have happening in the high school. So those are the 3 things I want to celebrate. There are more. Yes, we have work to do, but there are some amazing things going on. There's some amazing opportunities for children. The next thing I wanted to cover was around our Early Learning Center. Let's give a hand to Dr. Crystal Hunter. Are there any other staff here from the Early Learning Center? I want to be sure I recognize. Okay. Yeah. Well, stand up, Eric. Stand up with your team, Doctor. We know that when we passed Prop N, there were several tasks that were in front of us. We completed the renovations at Jefferson. We completed the renovations at Washington. And then the next major project, well, there were some smaller projects in all the buildings around energy efficiency. But the next major project was to combine the Early Learning Center and the Kindergarten Center into one space, the now known the Early Learning Center. It's a really big move because what we recognize is if we want every child on grade level by 3rd grade in literacy and mathematics and science, we have to start as early as possible. And so when you look at other regions, for Chicago, for example, as an urban district, is making faster growth than any other urban region in the nation. And what did they do? They invested in the early grades. So we have done exactly what they've done in terms of this particular market. The building is amazing. How many of you how many of you have been inside the building? The spaces in there are awesome. We set a goal and we were able to meet all of our teachers being able to get into those buildings, that building rather 2 weeks before school, but there still was a great deal of site work that had to be done. So what I want to do tonight is just go over with you what has happened with the site work in the last couple of months, and then again have some dialogue around that. I'm not going to give you any hard dates because the weather has played havoc with us. So we actually, whenever there was a warm weather, we did double time. If it was warm weather on Saturday, we tried to get people in then. But I just wanted to share with you just a few things. The new parking lot directly in front of the Early Learning Center was open for use on January 14th. Parking lot lighting is currently being installed and some lights are already operational. The timing of the traffic light is causing backups as parents attempt to exit the site in the mornings and afternoons. So we're working with MoDOT to see if we can make an adjustment there. Contractors are now working to complete the driveway that circles around the new parking lot that passes in front of the ELC and exits at the stopping light. And contractors will soon be working to complete the loop that parents will use when picking up and dropping off students from Lucas Crossing. When the Early Learning Center driveway is complete and when the Lucas Crossing loop is complete, both will need to be connected to existing driveways. This will require a complete shutdown of traffic for a few days. So that work is going to take place during spring break. So that way there won't be any parents that anyway they will use that time then. So the goal, of course, is that following spring break, that 99% of the work will be done. Final site grading near the detention basement will be the final step of the project. So those are all the things that have gone on and are planned to go on. Again, I stood in front of a group back in November and gave them hard dates, and then the weather just made me laugh. So the last thing that I was going to cover tonight is actually Mr. Steve Harmon, who's going to come and share some updates around what we've been doing related to security and safety in the district.
Good evening. Hey, my name is Steve Harmon. I'm the coordinator of safety and security for the Normandy Schools Collaborative. I've been here now about a year and a half, and since assuming command of the Safety and Security Department, some of the things that we've done, we've increased our staffing overall. We've added 2 full-time security staff members. We now have at the high school a staff of 5 safety and security officers along with an SRO. And hopefully in the future we may be increasing our staff overall throughout the district. Some of the things that we've done to foster a safer and secure environment for our students and staff. One of the things we did was we instituted a parent and visitor code of conduct. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's something that we have. It's on our website. It's also available at each one of our school sites, and we have it prominently posted a notice about it. What that does is occasionally we have incidents with parents and visitors that may come into our campuses. Sometimes they're disruptive, sometimes they tend to behave in ways that are inappropriate for adults, especially when they come into our school buildings. So now we have a policy in place that addresses that. It spells out what you should and shouldn't do, what you can and cannot bring into our buildings. So it tends to make our schools a little safer. I would suggest that you take a look at that. Again, it's posted on our website. In addition to that, the times that we live in, particularly in the St. Louis region, but however throughout the nation, people have become more violent. We have a lot of firearms out there on the street. Not that I'm against the Second Amendment or anything like that, but you shouldn't bring them into our schools. Having said that, along with our parent and visitor code of conduct, now all of our security staff are armed. So that was something that we did at the beginning of the school year, because I don't want any of our officers or any of our staff out here confronted with potential for violent or firearms without being able to protect our staff and our students at our schools. We've also upgraded our camera surveillance system in all of our buildings. That's an ongoing project. Some of our camera systems are older and they require maintenance and repair, in some cases replacement. So that's something that's ongoing throughout the school district. In addition to that, all of our staff now have new technology devices. We've issued new tablet computers to all of our security staff to keep them up to date in real time with things that are going on at their school, as well as being connected to other schools and the administration. And we're in the process of reviewing our cell phones for our staff, because some of the staff have outdated cell phones and it's hard to maintain contact with sometimes, so we're looking at that as well. One of the things that our school board and superintendent were interested in is hearing back feedback from our students. So that's an ongoing project that we now have had several listening sessions where we've invited students to let us know what they think about security and safety in their schools. Because it's kind of different when we tell them about security and safety, but to hear it from what the students in our schools are actually thinking about it, things that we could do, or what makes them feel safe, or what makes them feel not safe. Anything ranging from bullying to when they go home, so on and so forth. So we're now getting feedback so we can hopefully address some of their concerns. Regarding the high school, as you know, is a large campus. It has multiple buildings. It's not one particular building. So it's regarding safety and security there. One of the things that we're looking at, we actually started this year, is securing the campus. We had a number of open passageways where you could access the campus without coming in through the main gate. So we've secured the campus. We've installed new fencing, and we now have a single entry point. So all students, when they come onto the campus, have to come in through the main gate, and they have to enter at one particular point on the building. Back to the students. Another thing we did this year is trying to recognize our students when they do good things. So we now have a Normandy Strong Good Citizens Award that we actually started last year. And what that does is allows our staff throughout the district, not just the teachers and principals, but any staff member, to recognize a student or nominate them for recognition for doing something good based on the pillars that we observe here in the district. So if they see one of the students engaged in something that's positive, they can nominate them, and that student will receive recognition at the next school board meeting. So that's something that's new that we've not done in the past. Another thing we've done, which happens to be mentioned in the connections pamphlet, which are located on the back table, is we started the brunch patrol. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was actually on the news locally, and it also made national news in several publications and some national news outlets. So what that does, it invites all of the police departments located in the 24-1 to come to any of our schools, including this one, at breakfast or lunch, and sit down and have a free breakfast or lunch with our students. And you're probably wondering, well, why would we do that? Well, the reasoning is that we have currently our school safety officers, and we have SROs from the Normandy Police Department and the North County Co-op. However, as you're probably aware, our students and families live in these other police departments, Northwoods, Belda City, Pagedale, Uplands Park, all of them. So now they're allowed to come in and have lunch. So what happens is one of those officers from one of those other municipalities may come in and sit down and have breakfast or lunch with one of our students and maybe form some type of relationship with them. So when those kids are at home on a Saturday or a Monday night and they'll see a police car drive down their street, they can say, oh, that's Officer Smith. He has breakfast with us. Or that officer may see a student and say, okay, I remember him. I sat down and had breakfast with him. So it kind of helps build a positive relationship with law enforcement and our students, which is something that we definitely need in our communities. We also had the second annual school safety fair. We had just recently had that during our basketball tournament. This year was the 87th, or I should say last year's 87th annual Normandy High School basketball tournament. And again, we had representatives from different law enforcement at the school. They were again handing out gun locks and other information for the people that came up to the safety fair. This year we gave out approximately 300 gun locks. Another thing that we participate in, last spring I started a school security chiefs network. And what that means is people in the same position as myself and the various other school districts in the region, we meet on a monthly basis and discuss different ideas and things of that nature. We share ideas, so Jennings may be doing something that we hadn't thought about, or Parkway, or Kirkwood or Lindbergh. We also have Hazelwood, Ferguson, Florissant, St. Louis Public, and we meet, and Riverview Gardens as well. We meet regularly on a monthly basis, and again, like I said, we share ideas. We're now moving into a phase where we may even start making joint purchases, which would save both of our districts or all of our districts capital. So, for example, if the Normandy School District was about to buy some uniforms, and maybe Ferguson Florissant was about to buy some, and Hazelwood, we could all buy them together in larger quantities, and it would save all three districts funds. So those are some of the things that we're doing and some of the things that we're looking at. Lastly, I'll talk about some training that we did real quickly. We recently had district-wide active shooter training. I know that's a term or a topic that when you say that, or you look on the news, you see some incident at some school or some business or something somewhere in the country. St. Louis region has been very fortunate, but we still have to keep our guard up, and we do training for it. So we're in the process of training all of our staff, and we're going to do it in phases. The next phase is we'll hopefully be able to come into the schools and do some training for our students. But that's ongoing. We also had the Homeland Security Department of TSA come in and do some training for our transportation staff, for our bus drivers. We have incidents on buses occasionally, but they did training for them on how to locate suspicious packages that may be left on a bus, how to avoid specific incidents, and so on and so forth. And lastly, we did training for our students, actually at this particular school, along with Bell Noor, and about how to cross streets. Because this year we have a lot of students that are walking, and now that we've opened Bell Noor up as an elementary school, we have a number of walkers there. And students basically didn't know how to cross a street, a major traffic street. Some of the younger kids would come to the cross light, and they would go down the street, or they would cross out and run in front of cars. So we did some training with them on how to cross streets safer. You know, myself, I know, and probably some of you too, when you get up to a traffic light and you see the button, you push it to go across the street, and you see one on this side, you see one on this side, and say, okay, do I push this one to go this way, or do I push this one to go that way? And some of us don't know what to do when we get there. So you can imagine a third or fourth grader when they come up to the traffic light not knowing how to cross the street. So we did training for them, and it's worked out pretty good. So those are some of the things that we're doing in the Safety and Security Department.